Hi, and welcome back to Understanding Depression. Thank you for being here, really. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to remind you, if this podcast helps you in any way, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might need it too. You never know whose day you might brighten with just one thoughtful share. Now let's begin. Today's episode is titled, Why Knowing the Truth Can Save a Life. And I mean that literally. Every day, people around us carry invisible weights. They laugh, show up to work, send memes, go to dinner. And yet deep inside, they might be struggling in ways we can't even begin to imagine. Depression doesn't always look like what we expect. Sometimes, it hides behind smiles, behind responsibility, behind the phrase, "I'm fine." And here's the scary part. The more someone feels judged, misunderstood, or unseen, the more likely they are to hide it. That's how silence becomes deadly. We live in a world that still treats mental health like a secret, something to be whispered about in corners. But let me ask you this. If someone had a broken leg, would we tell them to just walk it off? Of course not. So why do we treat emotional pain any differently? Knowing the truth, really knowing it, means recognizing that depression isn't weakness. It's not laziness, attention-seeking, or drama. It's a real, clinical condition. And when we misunderstand it, or worse, minimize it, we miss chances to help. We risk losing people we love. But there's good news, and we'll get to that soon. Because while ignorance can hurt, awareness can heal. And yes, you listening, can be part of that healing. Stay with us. In the next segment, we'll talk about what it actually feels like to live with hidden depression, and why so many suffer in silence. You know what is heartbreaking? It's how often people don't realize someone they love is hurting until it's too late. Hidden depression isn't just about looking fine on the outside, it's about performing fine. People become experts at wearing masks. They crack jokes, send good morning texts, pick up your call, all while their inner world feels like it's slowly crumbling. Why do they do that? Because many are terrified of being judged. They've seen how people react to mental illness. They've heard things like just think positive, or you have no reason to be sad. So they hide it. And every time they hide it, they sink deeper. Not because they want to, but because they think it's safer than telling the truth. Let that sink in. Some people would rather suffer alone than risk being misunderstood. And that's why this conversation matters. Because truth, when met with compassion, can feel like oxygen. So what can we do? Let's start by learning to listen better, not just to words, but to silences. Sometimes, "I'm okay" isn't a confirmation. It's a cry for help disguised as a reflex. In the next segment, let's talk about the cost of silence and what happens when people feel like there's no space to speak. Silence isn't neutral. It can be heavy. It can be loud. And in the world of depression, silence often becomes the thing that holds people hostage. When someone keeps their pain to themselves, they're not just hiding feelings. They're holding back vital signals that others might respond to. But if we, as friends, family, or even strangers, don't create a space where it feels safe to speak, we miss those signals entirely. Think of how many lives could have been saved if someone felt safe enough to speak just one sentence, "I'm not okay." But vulnerability needs permission. It needs assurance that if I open up, I won't be met with shame or skepticism. That if I say I'm drowning, someone won't hand me a list of things to be grateful for. We don't need perfect answers. We don't need psychology degrees. Sometimes, all someone needs is a moment of real human presence. A voice that says, "You don't have to go through this alone." Because the truth is, no one should have to. Coming up, let's explore how everyday words, even simple ones, can either open a door or shut it. You'll see how the language we use can literally change someone's world. let's talk about language, because words matter more than we realize. Think back to a time when you felt low, really low. Did someone say something that made it worse? Now flip it. Did someone say just the right thing, even if it was simple, and it stayed with you? Déteste the power we carry. When someone opens up, we don't have to say the right thing. We just have to say something kind. Even a simple, "That sounds really hard. I'm so sorry you're feeling this way. I'm here if you want to talk." On the flip side, minimizing phrases can cause real damage. You're being dramatic. Other people have it worse. You just need to toughen up. These words don't help. They isolate, they invalidate, and they teach people to never speak up again. So let's be intentional. Let's speak in ways that welcome truth, not silence it. Next, we'll get into something deeply human, the desire to be understood, and why creating safe emotional spaces can literally save lives. Every human wants to be seen, to be heard, and maybe most of all, to be understood. That's what emotional safety is. It's not just about physical comfort. It's the feeling that I can show up as I am and not be punished for it. Creating that space isn't complicated. Sometimes it starts with a gentle question like, "What's been on your mind lately? How have you been feeling, really? Is there anything you need right now?" These questions aren't invasive. They're invitational. They tell someone you matter. Your feelings matter. I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to be with you. And guess what? You don't need to be a therapist to do that. You just need to be present. No rushing. No advice unless asked. Juste présence. Next, we'll look at how empathy, not solutions, creates hope. Let's say someone tells you they're feeling empty or overwhelmed. What's the first impulse? For many of us, it's to fix it. But people who are depressed don't usually need advice first. They need connection. Not "here's what you should do," but "I'm here with you. You're not alone in this." That's empathy. Empathy says, even if I don't fully understand, I want to try. It's standing beside someone in their dark, instead of shouting from the light. Solutions are helpful, but only after someone feels safe. When empathy comes first, solutions feel like support. When empathy is skipped, solutions feel like pressure. In the next part, we'll talk about the ripple effect, how one act of kindness, one moment of listening, can create more healing than we might ever see. You might never see the impact of your empathy, but that doesn't mean it's not there. When someone feels truly seen, even for a moment, it can plant a seed that says, maybe I'm not a burden, maybe I do deserve help, maybe there is hope, and that seed grows. They might talk to someone else, they might ask for help, they might start healing, all because of you. Awareness doesn't require a platform, it just requires presence. Your conversation at a coffee shop, your check-in text, your non-judgmental tone, that matters. Next, we'll explore how to move from good intentions to consistent action, because awareness is only powerful when we act on it. Empathy is powerful, but how do we make it a habit? Start with consistency. Don't wait for someone to look sad enough before asking how they are. Check in regularly. Normalize vulnerability. Celebrate honesty. Also, educate yourself. Learn what depression really is. Understand that it's not about willpower or weakness, but a complex mental health condition that deserves care and compassion. And if someone trusts you with their pain, honor that. It's a gift, not because it's easy to hear, but because it means they saw you as safe. In the next segment, we'll dive into small, daily shifts we can all make to create a more compassionate culture. Here are a few simple ways to build a more supportive world. Practice active listening. Put down your phone. Look them in the eye. Reflect feelings. That sounds exhausting, or that must be hard. Avoid toxic positivity. It's okay to not be okay. Share your own feelings sometimes. It gives others permission to do the same. Encourage professional help, gently and without pressure. These small acts add up. They normalize conversations. They tell people mental health is part of health. Next, we'll look at barriers to openness, what stops people from seeking help, and how we can gently break those walls down. Even when someone wants help, many things can stop them. Shame, fear of being labeled, cultural or religious beliefs, bad past experiences, not knowing who to trust. Understanding these barriers helps us be more patient, more gentle. It reminds us that some people need time and space before they open up. Let's not force healing. Let's invite it. Up next, we'll hear a story inspired by real experiences, a fictional tale, but one rooted in truth. Lena was 27, a teacher, funny, kind. Everyone thought she was thriving, but inside, she felt like a ghost in her own body. She didn't want to die. She just didn't know how to keep living like that. One day, a coworker asked, not casually but genuinely, "Hey, you've seemed a bit off. Are you okay?" Lena paused. She almost lied, but something in their eyes said, "It's safe." And for the first time in months, she said the truth. "No, I'm not." That conversation didn't fix everything, but it started everything. And today, Lena's alive because someone noticed, because someone asked. Next, let's talk about how you can be that someone. It's simpler than you think. Here's a truth. You might not save the world, but you might save a world, someone's world. And it might start with one sentence. What can I do to help? What are you feeling today? I care about you. You don't need to know all the right things. You just need to show up with patience, with kindness, without judgment. Because in a world full of noise, being a safe space is revolutionary. Now, as promised, we'll close with a personal reflection, a message we hope you'll carry forward into your conversations, your relationships, and your heart. If you remember one thing from this episode, let it be this. You don't have to fix everything, but you can care, and that's enough to change lives. Depression isn't always visible, but your compassion can be. Make space for honesty, for softness, for truth. Ask, listen, stay. And if you're struggling, please know this. You matter. You're not alone. There is help. There is hope. Thanks for being here, for listening, for caring. If this message resonates with you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. You never know who needs to hear it today. And remember, stay kind, stay open, stay with us.